Hi everyone, I'm Toluca from Markers and Minions. This is episode 5 of Plan With Me. Believe it or not, I'm almost ready to start Unit 4. I know many of us are still on Unit 3 and some of us even Unit 2. So when you are ready for Unit 4, episode 5 is what you'll want to watch. As soon as we get back from Thanksgiving break in a couple of weeks, we're going to be starting this. So I wanted to just do the unit overview today and talk about like that introduction chart that I always like to do in the beginning, and writing, and this fun bulletin board idea that I have. So before we get started, new members, welcome. It's Sunday, which means that I approved a whole bunch of people. So if you're watching and you're new, hello. Be sure to check out the pinned post to read the group guidelines. And then a really good place to start is by looking at the photos and the videos and the files tab in this group. You'll find a lot of resources and get a lot of good ideas that we've been sharing for the last few months on here. Some new things. I've got some updates for my TPT shop, and then I also updated the vocabulary cards. I'm always trying to find like an easier way to share those vocab cards with you guys. So what I did was I uploaded everything that I have to a Google Drive document, and I included that shareable link within our group files. So if you click on our files, you'll see Google Drive vocab cards. I think that's what it's called. And then it'll have a link that you can click on, and then it'll take you to our shared file. It should work for everyone, and it should be set so that you can just view it, like you won't accidentally be able to delete anything or move things around. I've got them for grades K, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And some grades are completed to Unit 10, some are only completed to Unit 8. And I know that first grade has an issue with Unit 3. It was a corrupted file, and I kept trying to fix it, but it just wouldn't work, so. Our ELD specialist made those for us. She just used images from Google, so don't, reproduce them and get in trouble. And then if she does update her files and add those later units for some of those grades, or if she adds 6th grade, which I don't think she will, but if she does, I will be sure to share with you. Okay, so updates for my store, focus walls. I've got a couple people asking when I'm going to update those. I'm planning over Thanksgiving break to put the next few units for each grade level on there, the ones that I have. Right now, I think my focus walls all go up to Unit 4 or 5. So I'll just keep adding to those over break. Same with my leveled reader companions, these things. I've got all grades up to Unit 4, except for 6th grade. I have Units 3 and 4 done. I just need to go through and revise those and fix the formatting before I upload those, so that will be soon. What else? I finally updated my fan and pick questions. So this is good for your Read to Self Center or your Writing Center. I might try to switch it up this unit, and I think I might put these at my Writing Center so the kids fan and pick questions. These are pink or fiction, and then blue or nonfiction. And then they write to the question. So upper, I have them rewrite the question, and then lower, I put one where like they pick a question and they stick it right here, and then they can write their response at the Writing Center or the Read to Self Center. So that's updated. Before it was like not as pretty, so, and it didn't have that response sheet. So that's there for you now. If you've already have that downloaded on your computer, just click re-download, you'll get the newest version. And then I also updated my opinion writing unit for the 3 Little Pigs versus the Big Bad Wolf. It's 20 pages now. It's got like daily lesson plans for each week. It's got student pages. It's got a couple of games that I always play during the writing process. So if you have this, go ahead and re-download that. I updated this maybe like last week. And then I can talk about this more later because this is what I'm doing for Unit 4 writing. I do this every year. I did this even before I started using Benchmark, and then I realized this goes perfectly with Unit 4, so I started doing that last year with Unit 4. So those are the updates, I believe, all of the updates for TPT. I'm pretty sure all of you know that I added daily plans to the planner, so that's included in there now as well. And that daily planner is free as always. Okay, so Unit 4. Let's see. Here's what I have. Have my unit planner here. I didn't print out my weeklies because I'm not going to go into that yet. So if you have this is all you'll need pretty much. Someone was awesome, a group member was awesome, and she made these on Google Slides for everybody. In the past, someone also put them on Google Draw, so you can actually like type onto these, those of you that need this digitally. Here's the reader for 3rd grade that we'll be using, and then our TE. Okay, so I'm going to start with reading all the essential questions across the grade level so we can kind of see how they're all connected. So Kinder is writers tell many stories, so why do people tell stories? First is how do people create stories, and it's all about stories have a narrator. 2nd grade is many characters, many points of view. How can a story change depending on who tells it? That I remember that with my 2nd graders last year. You'll read The Blind Man and the Elephant. So it's like perfect for that unit. 3rd grade, we have comparing points of view. What makes people view the same experience in different ways? 4th grade, understanding different points of view. What do we learn when we look at the world through the eyes of others? 5th, recognizing author's point of view. How can other perspectives help us evaluate the world? And 6th, the reader's perspective. How does the journey through life influence a person's point of view? So, let me go to week 1. And I didn't print out the weekly views this week for this unit, so I'm going to have to be flipping through this, but it's okay. Okay, so this is a fun unit. I usually don't extend this for that 4th week. I don't do one of the inquiry-based projects, but we can talk about those projects and you can see if you feel like doing them. But this is usually one that I'm done with in about 3 weeks. All right, so for week 1, it looks like our close reading skills are going to be identify and summarize key events. That's probably going to be our spiraling skill. Summarize key events. Identify narrator's point of view. Narrator's point of view. So would that be like 1st person, 2nd person? We'll see. Non-literal language. That's always fun. Hi, Vicky. It's pretty quiet on here. Is anyone here? Let's see. There's genre features also. Okay, so this is week 1. And I will go to week 2. I like to go this way. Hi, Kelly. Welcome. All right, let's flip this big thing. Week 2. Hi, guys. All right, now I don't feel like I'm talking to my screen. All right. We have more summarized key events. Distinguish reader's point of view from that of characters in a story. Distinguish reader's point of view from that of character. Okay, I'm just going to write point of view, more point of view stuff. It's a lot of point of view stuff. So distinguish the reader's point of view from that of the narrator, and distinguish reader's point of view from that of a character. I don't know what that means, but we'll get to it later when we break it down. Okay, week 3. More summarized key events. We've got analyze the effect of non-literal language on point of view. Okay, non-literal / POV. Oh yay, analyze how illustrations affect mood. Love those lessons. And it looks like that's, oh, I'm forgetting the cross-text analysis lesson for each one. So it's like all 3 of them, you're gonna have to compare, contrast those stories, I'm sure. That cross-text analysis lesson, let me make sure. Compare, contrast, point of view. Point of view, yeah, okay. Let's just add that in, like at the bottom. Compare, contrast. So that's all 3 weeks. So, okay, summarize key events. We can see spiral. So what I like to do sometimes when I'm pressed for time, I will take some of my whole group mini lessons out and I will push those into my small groups. And it's usually these ones, the summarize key events or identify key details. And Michelle, I'll answer that question for you in just a second. So if I don't have time that week, I will make sure to hit that hard during small groups. So that can save you some time during your whole group instruction. Okay, let's see. So Liz, this chart, is this what you're talking about? This is on my TPT store, Markers and Minions. You can download it for free. I have it for all grades. Unit planner, weekly planner, and daily planner. Oh, your dual immersion, M. Diana, finally, more BUSD teachers in here. Welcome. That's exciting. Oh, it's different when it's close to home. Okay, so Michelle, the difference between key events and key details is they are kind of, I know what you mean, they seem to be used interchangeably. For the nonfiction units, nonfiction texts, you're going to be looking for key details, the main idea. And when the story is fiction, you're looking for key events and summarizing. It's the same skill, but it's just fiction versus nonfiction. It took me forever to figure that out, and then I was like, oh, yeah. Hi, Carrie. Okay, so these are our closed reading skills. If you want me to record any of these in my classroom, let me know. I can share and put that up on my YouTube, videos of me teaching these. Okay, so spelling is next. Spelling week 1 is down here. The word study. Open syllables for week 1. Week 2 is consonant LE. So M, do you teach the Spanish or the English? Week 3. 3 is vowel teams. Okay, so that's spelling, word study, phonics, whatever you want to call it. In 6, they start with main idea and then they start calling it central ideas. Yes, I've noticed that. Yeah, and this TE, I did a video, well, it's gonna knock me out. I did a video last week on how to navigate the TE and where to find certain things. So if this thing still confuses you, I broke it down in my last video. You should check it out. Okay, language. So in benchmark, grammar is called language. And it's found in your writing. So you're not going to see any kind of grammar skills here. You're going to have to look at your writing lessons, writing the sources. And it's usually found in your drafting day, in your drafting lesson, or your revising lesson. So I previewed this and I found that for 3rd grade, it's lesson 11 for week 1. So lesson 11 is the drafting. And then if you look at the 2nd page, see where it says build language? That's your grammar skill for the week. Form and use possessives. So possessives. Week 2, it's lesson 13, the drafting lesson. And 2nd page again, it's going to be comparatives and superlatives. Comparative, superlative. I don't even know if I'm saying that right. Comparative, superlatives. Have we taught that already this year? Can't remember. Okay, and then week 3 is lesson 13, and it's usually review week 3. Let me see. Review, comparatives, superlatives, and possessives. So review week 1 and 2 skills. So if you feel like the grammar is not hit hard enough in these writing lessons, you can go online and visit the practice tab where you'll find the, what's the name? I say this all day long. Spelling, Language, and Vocabulary Handbook. I think that's what it's called. And that has a whole bunch of worksheets and extra practice. And my district didn't buy that. I know some districts did buy that. It's like a workbook. It's a consumable for kids. So that's on there. You can print off those pages for extra practice. And then those are what I have on my pamphlets. Sarah, I can't wait to work with idioms and hyperboles. Yes, it's super fun. I remember last year I taught hyperboles. I felt like I taught it every day. We talked about it all day, and then I passed the test out, and one of my kids goes, "What's a hyperbole?" It's like, come on. So I'll remember that this year. Let's see. No adjectives or adverbs this unit, Kristen. Seems like we've taught that a lot this year though, huh? Okay, writing, week 1. Well, it's going to be a compare-contrast essay. So let's see what that looks like. It's lesson 6. Is this informative? Yeah, I guess, right? Here's the prompt. Yeah, okay, a compare-contrast essay for Cinderella's point of view. Week 2. Oh, comparative or superlative adjectives. I think they're adjectives, right? Like bigger, biggest. Shoot, let me check for you. Lesson 13. So the skills in here, the examples in here say, so like quicker, hardest instead of most hard. To describing words. Remind students that adjectives and adverbs can be used to compare two or more things. We add ER to describing words. EST. Yeah, thank you, Kristen, you're right. I think it's both, Sarah. Okay, week 2, writing. Oh, this one scares me. I'm not creative this way. It's the kids need to write a play. For week 2. With stage directions, I think. Robin, it's on my TPT store. I have it on there instead of in the group files because I update it a lot, and then so whenever I update it, all you have to do is click download again and you get the newest version. And then I like it because it says how many people downloaded it. So I like it on there. But if you need it like digitally on a Google, in like a Google format, that is in the group files. Okay, week 3 is opinion writing. Okay, that's the writing. Lastly, let's see if we have any vocabulary lessons in here. I don't think I saw any. A lot of the times you'll see like distinguished shades of meaning or context clues, but I don't see that for any of these weeks. I don't see like an explicit lesson. I always focus on context clues with my kids. So after I do something called the 3 reads. So we'll read it once, I'll read it once aloud to them, and then they will read it afterwards. Their second read, they read it to themselves and they annotate all over it. And then the 3rd read is when we do our close read where we apply these skills. But before we jump into that, I like to review what they've annotated and help them figure out any words that they've circled by going over context clues with them. So I'm kind of always doing vocabulary that way. But it doesn't look like there's any explicit vocabulary lessons that I can see. So this is the unit overview. I can take a picture. I'll start that Unit 4 album. And then, where's my, here it is. So I did my overview. Okay, so yeah, now is the introduction. So to introduce this unit, I always like to do an introduction chart. And so the way that I plan these is I look through the stories, I preview the stories for the week, and I see what kind of themes are overlapping and then any kind of words that they might need to know when I'm explaining some of these lessons, if that makes sense. I preview this. I preview sometimes their text-dependent questions, like it asks what kind of, like what are they asking the kids to look for in the text, and any other kind of like themes that I see might repeat. So Unit 4 is all about point of view, right? So I Googled for my middle picture, I just Googled some fun glasses. So I'm gonna blow this up on a big piece of butcher paper. And the way that I do the picture in the middle is I Google that image and then I project it onto my whiteboard, and then I put this on my whiteboard and I trace it, and the kids think I'm an amazing artist. So that's how I make my unit charts. So I'm gonna write point of view in the middle. And then let's start flipping. Let's see what they need to know. So the first, what makes people view the same experience in different ways? Okay, The first story is Cinderella's Very Bad Day. It's a journal entry. It's her perspective. That's the word I want to put on there. And then the second part is a play about the stepsister's perspective. And then sometimes this has some good words. So think about how the characters are described from another character's point of view. Then consider how they would respond to each other in a different scenario. Okay, so I know I need to teach them perspective. Point of view, I might say perspective is the way someone views an experience. So bringing in the same verbiage as the essential question. The way someone views an experience can have different points of view for same event. Is there anything else I could put here to teach point of view? Perspective, the way someone views an experience, and can have different point of view for same event. And then let's keep looking. Then it's Jack and the Beanstalk, Brothers Grimm version. Determine the author's purpose for including the following characters. Describe how these characters move the plot forward. Okay, and then we have a play, and this is I think it's the cow's perspective. The cow is like all sad that Jack sold him off, and he's taking him to court or something like that. I don't really remember. It's the other perspective. Summarize each character's opinion. Okay, we need to throw opinion in there. So let's have a category be opinion. Should underline these. We can say it's their feelings or perspective. I also like to teach my third graders the word argument, how your opinion is your argument. And then the concept of like a counter argument, that's what it's called, right? Counter argument. When someone has, sorry guys, I'll show this in a minute, an opposing point of view. Opposing, that's a good word to pre-teach. Do they mention first point of view and third point of view? Maybe, probably. I should include that under this part. So like first person and then third person. Include it under this one. When I eventually make this chart big, I'll show you guys. I can take a video of me teaching it if you need me to. Also, maybe the word under opinion, the word persuade / convince. Okay, and then maybe we can even bring back motives again and touch on motives again. What do you think? There's only 2 categories. We should at least have 3. I'll leave that one blank for now. What do you guys think? Box these. Might be cool to bring back motives and talk about like how the motives kind of influence your point of view. or your point of view influences actions in the story. Okay, so this is what I've got for my intro chart so far. Yeah, reminds me of Charles. Yeah, Kristen, that's, thank you, Julie. So lesson 6 does mention first person and third person, so we will need to pre-teach like what that means. And Kristen, yeah, with my opinion writing unit that I'm doing with the 3 Little Pigs versus the wolf, like they're going to need to know motives, and I'm going to be transforming my classroom into a courtroom. Okay, so let me show you guys. So this is the unit that I'm doing. So I'm going to teach the kids how to formulate an argument or opinion, support the argument using text evidence. We're going to go through the writing process where they have a thesis and evidence and reasons. And then it's meant to teach them that there are multiple perspectives around the same event. So like same events happened that day, that straw house went down, that, where the stick house went down, same event, but different perspectives. So I am going to be basically transforming my room into like the 3 Little Pigs versus Mr. A Wolf. And we're going to read both stories. We're going to do a comparative input chart, what really happened. Let's see. The kids are going to be finding evidence for both sides and understanding both perspectives. They're going to be writing their thesis and their brainstorming, bringing in that text evidence. And then they're going to be doing like an author's talk, all that stuff. So let me show you my idea for my bulletin board. I'm super excited about. Yeah, this is on my TPT, Heather. I just updated that finally. So now it has like full-on lesson plans and student pages. It's very thorough now. So to get my kids, okay, here's my bulletin board. So I took pictures of my kids. Is this your unit long writing? Yes, Sarah. It's this is what it looks like. This is the cover of it. It's 3 weeks long. And I'm teaching this, just to clarify this, I'm teaching this during my writing block, which is different from my benchmark reading block. So I'm not replacing the benchmark weekly writing in any way. This is like in addition, because I feel like, my kids need that genre writing every once in a while, where we like take them through the steps and the research or whatever, revising, all of that. Okay, so I have this black jacket that I keep in my classroom for the kids to wear whenever we do something professional. And I didn't tell them what I was taking these pictures for, but look how awesome these are. Okay. I made every student stand in front of our black butcher paper, look very serious in this black jacket. And I'm going to put these all on the bulletin board, and I'm going to write "Meet the Jury" at the top. And then I've got, I'm going to back them so they look very official. And then I've got these images just from Google. I can upload these if you guys want to do this. These are just from Google, images from both stories, the 3 Little Pigs and the true story of the 3 Little Pigs. And I'm going to cut these out and put these all on my bulletin board, but like separate them in order of in which they occurred. And then I'm going to put map pins and then connect it with string. So like they're all detectives following the case. It's going to be cute. Super excited. Supreme Court justices, exactly. That would be cute too if they're the Supreme Court justices. When am I starting? I'm starting this right after we get back from Thanksgiving. So I actually have 2 days before Thanksgiving, that Monday and Tuesday, and I'm going to do my Unit 4 intro chart that day, and then I introduce the unit also with like a couple homework things. And then once we get back from Thanksgiving, it's going to be like fully in Unit 4 and in this opinion writing unit. So it's going to be cute. This is also what I'm doing to start the unit, to intro the unit. In addition to the chart, I have, I do homework a little bit differently in my class. I do something called home challenges. Yes, Alice in 3rd grade. Home challenges. So I have the kids complete a home challenge every week. It's like a social or emotional skill. Because I think that kids need to be like encouraged to interact now with people. So I say that in the most loving way. So the home challenge to introduce Unit 4 will be, ask your parent about a time they had a different point of view from someone else. What was their perspective? What did the other person think? And then I'm going to have them write like their parents' version here and then what the other person thought there. And then their bonus challenge will be, share about a time that you had a different point of view from someone else. And then I will have some sort of home challenge each week that goes along with our unit. Let's see. How do you have time to constantly switch this bulletin board and teach everything else you're supposed to teach? It sounds like a cute board. So in my classroom, I have one bulletin board that's my focus wall. That doesn't really change. I just swap out the weekly pages. And then another bulletin board that is, right now it has Unit 2 stuff on there. It has my Unit 2 intro chart with the motives and all that. And then the kids, as their like culminating assignment, they had to make their own chart for Snow White. So it was Snow White in the middle, and then it had like motives, actions, consequences. So I have all of their work up there. So that hasn't been changed in a while. And then, yeah, this other bulletin board. I have 3 like smaller boards those are the ones that I change out. And so that third one will have this Unit 4 stuff. Karen, I know you did 2-3 last year. Do you have any videos showing how to get through a week in second? I didn't record myself at all last year. I can give you like overall what my schedule was, but I personally, like in hindsight, I don't feel like I did it the best way, but it was my first year doing benchmarks, so I was figuring it out. I didn't really do like these centers, these workstations very well, but like in hindsight, if you have a combo, I think your whole day should be in centers if you can manage that. Okay, let me see if I hit everything I wanted to hit. This is a shorter video. Unit 4 intro, and then the Unit 4 writing and bulletin board. Yeah, guys, so what should I put for that 3rd category? Guess motives again. Why someone does something. What motivates people to act. I might just, bring that concept in again because it's fiction again. We've got these characters, people to act the way they do. Oh, traits. Yes. So like describing words. Do you also look at the assessments to guide your lessons and instruction? When I remember, I do. That's a good place to start. Like if you are figuring out like how to fit in all these lessons and you need to cut some out, then you can look at your assessment and backwards map that way. But a lot of the times, I've said this before, if I give a test and there's a question on there that I haven't taught, I just tell the kids to do their best, and then I might not count that in their overall score because I didn't teach it. But it's also data. So sometimes you know, I didn't teach a lesson, but the kids are doing okay on the assessment, so I don't have to revisit that the next week. Do you create the big poster for point of view and go over it in sections with the class, or do you make it as you teach? Do you post it on your bulletin board? So the way that I do this, I have a video of me actually teaching this for Unit 2. It's on my YouTube channel, and it's also in the videos, under the videos tab in this group. So what I'll do is get a big piece of butcher paper. I will write this entire thing that I have here in pencil so the kids can't see it. The only thing that I'll have in color, in marker, is the picture in the middle, and then the color, these are colored, the categories. So I might have like this be red, this be orange, green, blue, whatever. And then when I'm teaching the chart, I'm filling out the bullet points, and I'm talking on the bullet points. And it's all color coded. So like everything that's under this will be in red, everything that's under this will be in orange. And then I also do like, you know, turn and talk after each section, so it kind of breaks it up a little bit. I can post a link, like as soon as this video ends, I can post a link to me teaching that other intro chart so you can see how it works. And my class is trained, ideally, to not chat while my back is turned, because that is like a concern with GLAD teaching, is like you have the poster board up and you have to kind of turn your back. So you have to really teach your kids to self-monitor, self-advocate for their learning when you do these charts. And then I might put it on the bulletin board, or I might just like tape it onto a cabinet or something, so I can refer back to it with every story that we read. Like we'll read a story. Oh, look, guys, it's her opinion, it's her perspective, it's Cinderella's point of view, or whatever. So I make those connections. Can you post what your weekly schedule looks like for your entire day with the other subjects and your pullouts, not just benchmark? Sure. My schedule is pretty simple. First thing in the morning, 8:30 to 9:05, we come in, take roll, they meet me on the carpet. We do something called the big cheese, which is how I teach writing, and I bring in a lot of grammar that way. It's like collaborative writing. And then 9:05 to 9:30, I'm teaching math. 9:30 to 10:15, we do 3 math rotation centers. So I'm meeting with groups. Another group is working independently, another group's doing math games. 10:15 to 10:35 is recess. They come in from recess from we start around like 10:40 to 11:30. I'm teaching my benchmark mini lessons, just one after the other. And then 11:30 to 12, we're doing our benchmark centers, which is just one center, 30-minute center. And then 12:05 to 12:48 is lunch. And then we come back inside. I will read aloud Wonder. And then we have our specials usually. So like music or library, computer, art wheel, or second step, social emotional lessons. And then on Mondays, in PE, Monday afternoons from about 1:45 to 2:50, I have that open, so I'll do writing. Or if it's like a fiction unit and I have to hit some science and social studies, I'll try to squeeze it in there. And then Tuesday I have nothing, just PE, and then they go home. Wednesday, we have library and music until 2:15. So I have like half an hour Wednesday afternoons to continue with that writing or whatever. Thursday, I have about an hour usually if I skip second step. And then Friday afternoons, I like give up on teaching. So we go to the computer lab and then I say, la, 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 leave me alone for the rest of the day. Nina, the writing you showed on the 3 Little Pigs, what's it called on your TPT store? It's under, you guys know how I have those categories on the side of my TPT shop? So you can filter, I'm looking at it right now. Go down to writing, it's the last category, and then it's called The 3 Little Pigs versus Mr. A. Wolf Opinion Writing Unit. Glad, yes. I'm a glad teacher. Do you have any suggested strategies or activities for the close reading tasks in this unit? Posters and Post-its, etc. So in this unit in particular, you're comparing a lot. So you can do comparative input charts. So that's kind of like, I did this for the farmer and the fox for unit 2. You take your same categories that you are weaving through the entire unit, and you make a poster and you put a line through the center, and on this side you'll have Cinderella's point of view, and on this side you'll have the stepsister's point of view, and on here you'll write her motives, Cinderella's opinion, point of view, traits, and on this side you'll write the stepsister's opinion, motives, traits, point of view, and then you look at the poster side by side, you underline things that are similar, and then talk about things that are different, all while weaving in these same concepts and keeping the same colors too. So like if your motives are red, they're always going to be red. So that's what I like to do, comparative input charts for those kinds of things. For summarizing and key events, I just have them pull out the highlighters. And we don't use those graphic organizers that Benchmark has anymore. I did last year, but it took up too much time when the kids have to write down the key events. So now I just have them, highlight and annotate on the side. They can write a summary on the side. Sometimes if I want to make a bulletin board, I'll give them just give them a little template for an iPhone and say, write a little summary. It has to be short, like a text message, the beginning, middle, end, or something like that. You can have them work in teams, give them like one of those big Post-it notes or like a piece of butcher paper, and have them come up with the beginning, middle, end for a story that they read, one of these stories. It doesn't need to be always sitting at your desk in your book kind of thing. As long as you're hitting those objectives, you can do it however you want. If I think of anything fun along the way, I'll be sure to record it and share it with you guys. Okay, I think I'm caught up with questions. So I'll wait a few more minutes for any last questions to come in. And then, yeah, we'll call it a day. We have conferences starting tomorrow, and I have all my fun reports printed out from the Benchmark website. Keep this all together. This home challenge thing is on my TPT shop too. If you're like me and you're kind of sick of the way homework's going. Okay. Let's see. You're welcome. Thank you, Julie. Carrie, thanks. Videos? Yes, I video myself teaching sometimes, and I post to this group and on my YouTube channel. Heather, did you use an interim assessment for report cards at all, or are you going to give that assessment later? We did the interim assessment number 2, and I'm not using that on the report card at all. I'm only using their, so I'm using their SRI reading level, and I'm using their weekly tests and their unit tests. So the way that I justified grades was this. If they were reading above 3rd grade reading level for SRI, so I think it was like 450 or above at this point in the year, and they were getting 3s and 4s on their benchmark tests, then I gave them a 3 on the report card. if they were reading like at grade level for SRI, but they were kind of inconsistent on their reading tests, I gave them a 2. Unless like through like informal observation, I'm like, oh, that kid worked with me in small groups and I saw this, this, and this, and I could justify a 3 that way, then I did it that way. But a lot of my kids at this point in the year, we use standards-based grading. At this point in the year, they're earning a 2. And which means they're making progress. They're getting there. But that interim assessment was kind of a beast. And I just posted a picture actually of a weekly test, just one of those 10-question tests. I assigned it in the computer lab, you know, on one of those Friday afternoons where I was like, shh. They took that test independently without me reading anything. They'd never seen it, paper, pencil. They took the test and they got a really low average. I want to say like 61% or something. That's low for my class this year. And then that was Friday, and then the following Monday or Tuesday, I gave it that same test to them on paper. Didn't read it, nothing, just handed it out, told them to annotate. And the scores, the difference in scores was shocking. And that is just evidence that my kids need more practice taking online assessments. But it kind of also reinforced for me, it kind of like made me realize that I can't count that interim on their report card because it was just a cold test, completely online, no reading it to them. They can't annotate really, and it was really long. So, do they take all of their assessments on the computer? Do you feel like you're just giving a lot of tests? No, so I do paper and computer, and I don't really feel like I'm giving a lot of tests because for week 1 and week 2, those tests are really short. They're like quizzes, so, and that's just, it's a quick quiz. They can finish it in like 5-10 minutes. And then when they go to the computer lab, they take it with them and they transfer the answers onto the computer. That way I can have those analyzed reports. That unit test is really long. For Unit 3, since they just did the interim, I don't want to inundate them with like another huge test. So for Unit 3, I'm only giving them the writing portion. I think it's number 22, especially because we've been writing our animal report, and so I need them to like demonstrate that they can do this on their own, this informative writing. So sometimes if it feels like I'm testing them like crazy, then I'll scale back a little bit. But otherwise, no, I think the weekly test and that unit test, it works out fine for my class. Yeah, Sarah, it's a long one. It's really long. Thanks, Krista. What's IB schools? Heather, I don't know what that is. At least not that acronym. Kristen says that her district didn't require the interim. It was evaluated by our district and thought not to be good. Too much response to literature, which isn't necessary. Yeah, I went back and I looked at it, and there's 2 literature pieces, 2 nonfiction pieces. So it's, 50-50, just like the way that these benchmark units are planned. There's, 5 nonfiction units, 5 fiction units. So the interim 2 matches that pretty well. I prefer, if it was up to me, I would just do interim 1 and interim 4, which is the exact same test. 1 at the beginning of the year, 1 at the end of the year, because you can really see that growth, and it tests end of the year standards. So in the beginning of the year, they bomb it because they haven't learned it yet. And in the end of the year, they can really shine. And it's helpful. Julie, is SRI free, and is it a one-on-one assessment? It's not free. It's through Scholastic. And yeah, it's computer-based, and they're answering questions online. And an alternative to SRI, which can be more specific, is Benchmark's reading, guided reading, A through Z. They've got those quick checks, so you can take them through the guided reading levels that way. I think that's way more like accurate, honestly. It tests their fluency, their intonation, phrasing, comprehension, everything. It's not computer-based, it's you. But that comes with our program. It's the Fountas Pinnell. So if you don't have SRI, you can do the guided reading levels. All right, guys. Maybe 5 more minutes. I'm just gonna Google IB school, see what that is. International Baccalaureate, it's a nonprofit educational foundation. Oh, social emotional skills. It's calling my name. Okay, our district adopted Fountas Pinnell. Yeah, I love it. When I was with LAUSD, we did the Fountas Pinnell guided reading level through Scholastic, I think it was. And it came with like all these little small readers that were leveled, but it's like just like Benchmark has all these small leveled readers too. And that's basically what we use in the quick checks that are included in the Benchmark assessment booklet. That's basically what we used. Okay, Heather, we have inquiry units and everything is supposed to be aligned to teach IB all day, and I'm struggling to switch the Benchmark units around to fit into my IB units of inquiry because the units get harder. Like Benchmark Unit 3, we trash all of that at the end of the year. We do a unit on fairy tales, but there are 2 to 3 Benchmark units on that. Like inquiry, like as in inquiry-based project-based learning. Oh, I told you guys I was going to show you that for Unit 4, huh? I don't do the inquiry-based project for Unit 4, but here's where they are. They're at the very back of your TRS under additional resources. Maybe you could start here, Heather, and plan your unit based on these kind of projects, if that's what you're saying. Okay. Express a point of view. So it's connected to social studies, so they need to research an event in California history, such as a Native American event, an explorer's event. Okay. Write diary entries. Write a diary entry from the point of view of an animal. Discuss how the animal responds to environmental changes. And investigate invasive species. That's cool, but why is that Unit 4? Because they're writing an opinion about how the invasive species is destructive. And that's it for Unit 4. Those are the inquiry-based projects. So you could maybe start with looking at that and plan your unit around that angle. Not really sure. Are you planning any idiom or hyperbole fun extension activities? Sarah, the first time I taught idioms this year was around Halloween, and we wrote Halloween idioms. So you could kind of connect it to the holidays. Just off the top of my head, that's one way to make it a little bit more fun. Hyperboles, I don't know. If I think of something, I'll let you know. How do you set up your library, Lexile or guided reading level? We got a bunch of books from Scholastic and I'm struggling how to set it up. I leveled my entire library by guided reading level. So I have A through Z. Took forever. And the kids don't keep it clean. Oh, teach, not trash. Let me see. We teach all of that at the end of the year. I was like, Benchmark Unit 3, we trash. We teach all of that at the end of the year. Huh. All right, guys, about 1 more minute. And then I will hang up and I will go and answer questions in the comments so that people who don't have time to watch the whole video can kind of read your questions and get answers that way. You're welcome, Nina. All right, thanks guys. Have a good week. I will talk to you throughout the week, and I'll be back next week with like I won't do a plan with me, I'll do like a general Q&A. Usually I have like a focus that I gather from, oh, that was a car accident. I have like a focus that I gather from the group, like whatever everyone's talking about, I will bring that in next week. And then in 2 weeks time, I'll do another plan with me where we can go into the weekly plans for Unit 4 together. All right, have a good week. Bye.